Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Neighbor to Neighbor. As you know, Neighbor to Neighbor is a series of episodes brought to you by the Town of Shrewsbury's Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Committee. And we host a series of episodes to foster togetherness in our community and let you know who lives in your town. Today, we are joined by Shrewsbury's very own Reverend Holly MillerShank. Welcome, Holly.
Thank you, Adeola. I'm really pleased to be here.
I'm so glad to have you. And it looks like we have a little friend. Can you let us know who this is?
Yes, this is Conrad Micah. He was born in November, so he is just over 4 months old, and he was available to be with us today.
Hi, Conrad. Thank you for coming. Oh, I get a smile. You are adorable and so glad to have you join us today. So we're going to talk and get to know Reverend Holly. And just to add, she is a fellow member of the DEIB Shrewsbury Committee with myself and a few others that you met the first episode. If you haven't watched the first episode, make sure you go look at it. It was great. All right, Holly, let's get to know you. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, one of the reasons that we are sitting right here is that I am the senior minister of First Congregational Church, which is the large white church on the Common in Shrewsbury. We've been here for over 300 years.
Wow.
But my ministry here has been not quite 2 years.
Wow, that's amazing. And I know a lot of us drive by the center of town. We see the library, we see the big white church, we see the little fire department there. And if anyone's wondering what happens in the church, well, we're going to talk about that today.
It'll be really great to share.
That's awesome. So tell me first, how long have you been in the Shrewsbury community?
We came in August of 2022, and we're very fortunate. The congregation has been committed to keeping its senior minister and family here in the neighborhood. So we live in the church parsonage just down the road. And it has been great for my husband and I, with both our daughter who is in school at Patton and now our second little one who's here with us now.
Hey, buddy. That's awesome. And this gives us a little insight. So you're a working mom.
I am.
Right? And this is great to see. He's here with you at work. So how does that work for you? How do you do that?
Well, I know that for our congregation, it's really important that we are an intergenerational space that is welcoming and accepting of people no matter where they are in life's journey. And for so many of us, part of our life's journey is parenting. Yep. And so this is part of what we do.
And yes, as we all know, we have a lot of working moms here in Shrewsbury. So it's great to know that the community is accommodating, and it's just a welcoming and supportive place to be for moms in general. And I know it's so important to have that village. When they say it takes a village to raise a child, that is so, so important.
And that's been a huge thing for us because both my spouse and I are from central Pennsylvania. Oh, wow. And so we have moved here without all of the helping hands of grandmas and aunts and uncles. And so we really do rely on the friends that we've made through Patton and our neighborhood and the church to be part of our community now.
And that's awesome. And I learned something about you today that I didn't know before. Your kids are in the Patton School District, and so are mine. And that is amazing.
Yes. We'll have lots of overlap, which is one of the things about Shrewsbury is that it's a big community, but there are lots of ways in which we're drawn together.
Agreed. And I love that. That is so, so true. So tell me a little bit about this beautiful place we're in, this church.
The First Congregational Church in Shrewsbury was started in 1723, and in order to become a town in Massachusetts, you needed to have 40 families, a church, and an ordained minister. And so you couldn't become a town unless the church was here. And so that's part of the reason why so many of these New England communities have a church right in the town common, because it was one of the essential elements of being founded as a community. And that's also the reason why we celebrated our 300th anniversary just before the town of Shrewsbury has their 300th anniversary.
Wow, I love that. And I bet you a lot of people did not know that until today.
Right, it's a cool fact. And as a congregation, we have 3 core values that underlie the majority of our efforts. The first is spiritual discovery, that we really want this to be a place where people come to find God in their lives, not just on Sunday mornings, but throughout the week, in a way that we can come with our questions. We can come with the things that nag us at night, the questions that we have about our families or our relationships, and to find that the Bible, even though it's, over 2,000 years old, that there's still light and truth to break forth from it, that there's new accents and interpretations for us to be able to hear together.
That's awesome.
And so we offer a lot of opportunities for us to delve into our faith and find new spiritual discoveries. We are also a church of inclusive welcome. We say that no matter who you are or where you are in life's journey, you're welcome here, and we mean it. We have an opportunity to welcome people regardless of their background, regardless of their socioeconomic status, their gender identity, sexual orientation, or your status in life. You are welcome here. And so we like to remind ourselves that when we come to church, we are being invited not only by one another, but by God.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it happens so often where people might see a church and feel that, oh, I'm not welcome there. I don't look a certain way. I'm not from a certain place. I don't carry a lifestyle of a certain, a posture. And me, myself, being a woman of faith and going to church, I love to know that this is a place that is inclusive. And I love that you are validating and reaffirming that churches can be an inclusive space. And this is the first time I've walked into the sanctuary, although my daughter does do Girl Scouts here. I know a lot of troops meet here, but I've never been in the sanctuary. And the first thing I felt coming in here was peace and this energy of feeling welcome, almost like feeling a place to call home almost. And that is really inviting. So I do welcome anyone who is looking for a church or just somewhere to go, to just come by. It's very friendly. It's a great feeling when you enter the room, and it's very inclusive. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit more. You said the church is inclusive. Tell me a little bit more. I've heard the words open and affirming. So tell me a little bit more about what that means.
Well, during the pandemic, that was before I was called as the senior minister, the church went through a very intensive and faithful conversation about what is our understanding of the span of human sexuality and gender identity. And they voted as a congregation to do the work to become an open and affirming congregation. So you'll see on our sign out by the road, we have a rainbow flag. Yeah. But that is an intentional sign that we didn't just say, well, of course, all are welcome. We did the homework as a church to say this is part of our core identity, this is part of our values, and this is how we live out our faith, by being a place that is in the United Church of Christ. That's our language, that we are actually a certified, open and affirming congregation of the United Church of Christ.
Wow, I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And that ties in, so let's know, you're in the DEIB committee.
Yeah.
So let us know a little bit about what drew you to joining the committee.
I joined the DEIB committee when I first came to town. I'm trying to figure everything out. I don't know where I'm going to go to my groceries or what doctor's office. And one of the things I wanted to do, both as a citizen of the community and as somebody who works in a community-oriented congregation, was to be a part of the town structure. And I thought the DEIB committee would be a fantastic way for me to learn very quickly what are some of the needs of the town and to bring the same compassion and values to the area. And it was very clear, I said in my application that when we are ordained in our denomination, that we commit to serving people of faith and people of different faiths and people of no faith. And so it's part of our values that everyone gets ministered to impartially. And so even though I have this particular background, it's a background that's committed to service, no matter who may be part of the conversation.
That's awesome. And speaking of your commitment to service, tell us a little bit about some of the programs that go on in the church.
This church is busy from 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. 7 days a week. We have AA meets here every single morning. So if anyone is in need of an AA program, it's drop by 7 o'clock. Doors are open and you are always welcome. We have adult children of alcoholics that meet here weekly. Weight Watchers.
Al-Anon? Is that Al-Anon?
No, it's ACOA.
ACOA, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have Weight Watchers meets here. The driving school comes here every time there's a school break. So we have a lot of teenagers who are coming here to learn how to drive.
Awesome.
We have a Indian Tamil school, which is a cultural school that meets here every single Saturday.
Wow.
Aprende is a Spanish language immersion preschool that uses our facility. We have about 10 Girl Scout troops.
Yep.
We have been the charter organization for Troop 114 for over 100 years,
Wow.
who meets here every week.
Wow.
We have quilters that come in once a month. We've got the Assabet Valley Master Singers who practice here. The Worcester Youth Orchestra is here. We have a special program that is part of our ministry on Mondays, which is a Parkinson's choir. Oh, wow. So people who are beginning to experience the loss of your depth of breadth for living with Parkinson's, singing is a great way to learn how to control your breath. And so we've got a Parkinson's choir that meets every Monday.
I love that.
And lots more.
That's so cool. So on a Sunday, can we find you giving a sermon here, or?
Oh, of course.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
I am up in that very, very big pulpit there that has been there for 200 plus years. And we are here at 9:30 every Sunday morning. And we also broadcast on the Shrewsbury Media Connection. Beautiful. And we're available through live stream and on our YouTube channel too.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. This has been amazing. And thank you, Conrad, for joining us. I'm so happy to have you.
I know. It's been terrific. One mom to another.
One mom to another. And with that, friends, we say, remember always to heart thy neighbor. Can you do a heart sign?
Oh, yeah.
Heart sign. Heart sign. Bye now.
Bye.
Hi there. Welcome back. Here's the second part of our episode where we're highlighting community service in our community, our beloved town of Shrewsbury. I am joined by Shrewsbury's very own Andrea Castinetti, and we're going to learn a little bit about her and the work that she does for our community here, right in town. Thanks for joining us, Andrea.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So first, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I've been in town for 25 years. I'm originally from the North Shore.
Wow.
No one ever knows where it is. It's called Swampscott. So I am a real estate broker. I own a brokerage in town, but I also run a nonprofit.
That's amazing. Yeah. So you're coming from the North Shore.
Yep.
It's so funny that you say no one knows where it is. I came from kind of like the South Shore, I would say. Okay. Stoughton, Massachusetts, okay. South of Boston. Came here in 2020. Okay. And anytime people ask me, where are you from? And I say Stoughton, Massachusetts, they're like, where's that? Right. So exactly. It's so funny how Central Massachusetts is different from South.
Total.
Yeah, it's like total. It's like you could be in a different state.
Exactly.
That's so funny. But welcome. So what brought you to Shrewsbury?
Business. Yeah. Wow. So I've been an entrepreneur for about 25 years. Wow. So I was in a different business before real estate. I've been in real estate for about 9 years.
That's amazing. And do you mind sharing what did you do before real estate?
Yep. So I was in the fitness business for 10 years. then another fun fact is I owned a hot dog truck at Home Depot.
That is
a little
so
bit different than
cool.
fitness. And then I was in the tanning and salon, like the tanning salon and spa business.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you said fitness. So that explains your energy. I love when I first met you, I was just in awe of your energy. And I just love that.
Thank you. Thanks.
That's amazing.
Realtors have to have, have to turn that up sometimes. So
Yeah. And you've been operating as a realtor here in Shrewsbury.
Yes.
You said 7 years?
Almost 10.
Almost 10 years. Okay. And tell me a little bit more about that work.
So when I was 40, I decided I had to get out of the tanning business. It was just, I couldn't see myself in there for, the rest of my life. And, I said, now what? I've been self-employed for so long. So I forget what friend it was, and thank you to whoever it was. They said, what about real estate? And I had never thought about it. So I go take the test, and, I took the class, and somehow I passed the test, and, just the rest was history.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
So let me talk to you about that, because we have a lot of young people.
Yep.
As much as we like to think Shrewsbury is an aging town, we do have a fair number of young people looking to get into some kind of entrepreneurial work.
Yep.
Looking to get into real estate.
Yep.
What advice would you give someone, or if it's somebody's parent watching for their kid, what would you give someone to get into this field?
I actually love that question because I get it a lot. I want to get into the business. What do I do? So I don't always just, highlight the good. I always say good, bad, and ugly because, being a realtor, is basically your own business. So there's ups, there's downs. It's a roller coaster. It's an amazing business. It's a 24-hour, a 24/7 job. But I wouldn't change it for the world. So there's a ton of opportunity, especially if you want to work on your own time. It's not a typical 9-to-5. I am not a 9-to-5er, in the least bit. But I always tell people reach out because I mentor tons of people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was looking at something on Instagram, of all places, that said Massachusetts is now one of the second most expensive places to live in the United States. Can you confirm or deny?
I cannot confirm or deny. However, we are there's places, Springfield is one of the most up and coming towns and cities in some study. I forget what it was, but Massachusetts is there's a lot of pros and cons. Affordability is definitely, obviously the name of the game, but that's everywhere. We were talking earlier, rentals and purchasing home and first time home buyers and downsizers. I mean, it's a crazy market right now.
Yeah. So on that note, what would you tell someone, a first time home buyer in this, what advice would you give them?
Yeah. Make sure you have a realtor that is going to guide you. I'm not saying you have to just use me, but have someone that you can trust because it's important. Buying a home is literally one of the biggest purchases someone's going to make in their life. And you don't want to make the wrong choice, especially for your first home.
Right.
So trusting a realtor to guide you on that path is crucial. And start saving money. I tell my kids this, keep your credit stellar, save as much money as you can. That way you're really prepared, because you don't want to use your last dollar to buy a property. Then God forbid, what if something happens?
Right.
Your water heater goes, anything, and you have no reserves. It can be disastrous.
Right. And that's so important to mention. We bought our house in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, right before this weird flip, right? We got lucky. We actually got under asking, which was amazing.
Yep.
Unheard of now. But people don't think about, okay, you have your mortgage, but then you also, when the water heater breaks, when, your landscaping bill,
everything, exactly.
Maintenance, people don't think about the upkeep,
right?
So that's so important to remind people, especially young people, when you're looking to buy a home, keep extra X amount aside.
You have to have reserves.
For the incidentals.
Right.
Always have reserves. So that's great.
As a homeowner, there's always something.
Definitely. So you heard it here, folks, with Andrea Castinetti. So she's a great realtor if you're looking for one.
Thank you.
So let us transition a little bit. We talked about your career. Let's dive in a little bit to just your, life, your personal life in general. Let's get to know you as a neighbor. We're both in Shrewsbury. Tell us a little bit about what you like to do.
Yeah. So as we were talking earlier too, I also run a nonprofit. So when I was opening my brokerage, I started my nonprofit as well. I love charity work. I love helping people. I like to keep it local. I always say anybody can write a check, but we like to bring the community together for events. So we do backpack drives where basically, 1 year we'll have it focused on the homeless. So we've been filling like 1,000 backpacks. We bring the community together. We fill these backpacks with all cold weather gear, personal hygiene items and all that. I really feel like we provide an avenue for people. So many people want to get involved, they just don't know how. So, that we talk about the town-wide can drive, the food drive. Food insecurity is huge. We're lucky to have a community refrigerator and pantry in town, which a lot of people don't know about. So if you don't know about it, if you're looking at the senior center, to the left outside is the pantry and the refrigerator.
Awesome.
And that's something that people don't know. And it's open, obviously, 24/7 for anybody. And it's very hard to keep it filled. And it's actually very sad that, in 2024, people are going without, kids and seniors. And, one of the reasons I'm so involved in it is because I remember pulling up there to drop, do a drop. And there was an elderly woman that walked up to the refrigerator, opened it up, and it was empty. And when I tell you my heart broke, and I'm like, and I pulled right up and I said, because I try to give them their space. And I was like, take all this stuff in my car. But that happens more often than not. Parents, look at the food costs. We're a family of 3, and I look at our food bill for 3 of us. You have multiple children. My girlfriend has 5 boys. I can't even fathom it with all of the cost of everything being so extraordinary. Food, unfortunately, that's, people are going to skimp there.
Yeah.
So the community refrigerator is crucial, and we need people to come together. So that's why we do those townwide drives.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think in a future episode, we'd be interviewing the Rotary Club and some other folks who are also a part of that.
Definitely.
So it'd be good to hear about that
Yes,
more.
and it's community run. So we have so many amazing people that step up, and they pick up donations from Wegmans and Panera and all that. It's a team effort, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Tell us about some other community events that you put together.
Yeah, so every Thanksgiving we do a Thanksgiving dinner drive. So basically I'm always begging for money. So if you're my Facebook friend, you will see that I am constantly, because at the end of the day, nothing happens without money.
Right.
There's so many amazingly generous people here that, since COVID, as we said, food costs have skyrocketed. So, we look at buying 300 turkeys and we're over $8,000 or $9,000 just for turkeys alone. Wow. So we're lucky enough to collect $10,000 to $15,000 around Thanksgiving, and we fill about 300 baskets. So we get everything donated, brought to my office, which is, the hub. And then all the community members come together, and we have, 50, 60 volunteers that come out that day. And, it's just a fun day of bringing everyone together.
Right.
Because my big thing is, like we talked about, bringing the community together. People having a face-to-face conversation, people working for the greater good of people that they don't know. We need more of that.
Yeah, and that's so great that you mentioned that, because, we have this huge town. We're 30,000 plus. Right. And as much as people focus on differences, we can be different. We can come from different backgrounds, 100%. But there's always going to be those core things that draw us together. Right. We all want the same things. We want to see our kids succeed.
Exactly.
We want to have, just betterment for the community, for people coming together, have, great, have a good camaraderie together. And it's just so important to just have these conversations.
100%.
Especially in times where things can seem so divisive. It's good to have these things come together. Our DEIB community, we do a lot, and we want to do a lot more to foster community togetherness.
Love it.
And this is one of the ways we're doing that.
And I love that you do this. And we need more of that. I don't care if you support one charity or one person or one realtor. None of that matters. At the end of the day, we all bleed the same color. And if we're all on a mission to make this community a better place, why wouldn't we come together for the greater good? It's everyone brings a different skill set.
That's amazing. Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's awesome. Tell me something about this community that feels like home to you.
Yeah, well, there's a lot, actually. I'm very lucky to have a very large network. And even though I might not see these people on a daily basis, what I love is that if I put something out there saying, hey, I'm in need of maybe getting a dog rehomed. I do a lot of random things besides real estate. These people there's so many Facebook friends I've never even met that say, what do you need? Here's money, here's items, let me transport something. That's what I love the most. And, I am constantly thanking my friends, I don't like to say followers, the people that walk beside me to do these events. Again, so many of them I've never met, and they're just ready to jump up at any time, and it just shows there's so much more good than bad. And unfortunately, the bad news travels way more than the good. So your mission, my mission is to highlight that and bring together, all of these random people that may never have met before. So again, we provide an opportunity for people to come out, and do whatever they can, again, for just random strangers.
Absolutely. And I love that. So if somebody didn't have Facebook, how could they find you if they're looking to donate or take part in one of these amazing community events that you put together?
Yeah, luckily word of mouth travels a lot. You know, we do have a Facebook page, a website, kindnesscoalitionma.org.
Okay.
We try to we don't update that as much. I have to get better at that. Facebook, you know, social media is
like the main.
Exactly.
I mean, for these days, social media really is powerful, powerful tool.
We try to do flyers. May 4th, we're doing a townwide yard sale. Oh, awesome. So we started that last year, just a random, you know, let's do it all on the same day. So it's a $10 entry. And again, I can put that out there and give you some links for that. Yeah. But we do it on a Saturday, and you know, there's usually 40, 50 houses that participate. The $10 entry fee goes to either SYFS or St. Anne's. So we try to pick like another local charity to donate those funds back to.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun day.
That is so cool.
Thanks.
And say the name of your website again, because I want to make sure we can put it down in the link in the comments. I'm sure they'll help us out with that. So if you, and the name of your realtor business, if somebody wanted to get in contact with you.
Yeah, definitely. So it's Castinetti Realty Group. We're right next to Dean Park Pizza on Main Street. Nice. The little white house. And it's kindnesscoalitionma.org.
Okay. So you heard it here. kindnesscoalitionma.org. And you can find Andrea Castinetti's Realtor Group, The Little White House by Dean Park. And if you want more information, you can, the links are down below. And you can definitely reach out to her if you're looking for a house, if you're looking to help support one of the community charity events she runs. And this is the greatest thing about having people like you in the community, is that we just love to give back. We love to share. We love to do good. We love to pay it forward.
Exactly.
And this is just great that now this platform is here, so
awesome.
You can get more information if you want to reach out. So
I appreciate you having me on. Thank you
so
so
much. Grateful for you. Thank you for joining. And always remember, guys, to heart thy neighbor. Do a little heart sign.
Adorable.